pleasure to be in the company of Frank Warren. Frank, I've always wondered, what do you get a boxing promoter like yourself who's been in the game for many years for Christmas? What's on your list?
What do you get me? You get me a nice pillow so I can put my head down and get some kip.
Much needed after the busy year that you've
Yeah,
had.
it's been a very, very busy year. We've not stopped working hard. We've really, all our team went, Queensberry team have been magnificent. Everybody here has really contributed to make sure we've had a successful year. And certainly all the fighters that we represent, they've all done brilliantly as well. So, really great 2025. And we're kicking off the new year with some fabulous fights and shows, and we'll be looking to announce another couple in January, which I think people are going to love.
We'll rewind and look forward in a short second. I just want to get your thoughts on the last weekend. You said you'd be watching Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. I'm sure you caught it. What did you think?
I watched it when I woke up in the morning, and what did I think? I mean, it went on longer than I thought it'd go on, but the result is what I thought it would be because it's just a big guy in with a smaller guy, and Jake Paul, who's very brave. I thought done the best he could do under the circumstances. He's never a fight I felt he could win unless he caught AJ, and I felt that would be, if he did, he might have a bit of a chance. But that was a big ask. And at the end of the day, AJ clipped him, did what he had to do, and the size difference, the experience, everything showed on the night.
Yeah, as a
Although
boxing.
although I thought Jake, a couple of times when he got behind his jab, his movement, he had a bit of head movement early on before he was tiring. His jab, he caught him a couple of times, nearly threw a good uppercut, and I thought he nicked the fourth round, which surprised me.
Yeah, as a boxing man through and through, a lot of conversation surrounded AJ and the amount of time he should allow Jake Paul to be in the ring with him. It went 6. Was that too many rounds for someone of the caliber of Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul?
Yeah, I mean, you expect the big man to jumped on him and done what he had to do. But, when you're fighting AJ, you've got to push AJ on the back foot. You negate a lot of what he does by pushing him on the back foot. And unfortunately, Jake was just not strong enough or big enough to do that. And, he hasn't got the experience. Not being disrespectful, you look at his resume and you look at the guys he's fought. I mean, come on. AJ's been mixing with the best in the world for quite a few years now.
Jake did land that big overhand right on AJ. Did that surprise you?
Yeah. No, because he's open to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's open to it. Daniel Dubois showed you that.
What about the finish from AJ? He broke Jake Paul's jaws.
He got up, didn't he? He still, he hurt him. He hurt him a couple of times, but he didn't poleaxe him. He didn't do what he did to Ngannou with him. So, but he hurt him, and it was it was a correct stoppage, and that was it. But he's not learned anything from the fight, have you? He's not, that fight is not going to put him in my opinion, in good stead if he gets in with Tyson Fury. That's for sure.
Jake's team has suggested it's a lot to do with the weight and that they're going to go back down to cruiser. Some feel that he can even win a world title. You're the man who's guided many to titles over the decades. Does he have the ability to capture a world title?
He's got the heart, that's for sure. But, you start looking at Opetaya, you look at some of those guys there, Kevin Lorena, there'd be tough fights for him. He needs more. He hasn't. What I'm going to say is like talking against Fabio Wardley. He has no amateur experience. He has no experience. He's just gone in there. And Fabio, had none of that. And look where Fabio is. He's world champion. He's brave. He trains as a fighter. He's a professional fighter. And, and nobody can knock the fact after. I mean, a lot of people criticise the type of opposition he's fought, but no one can complain about the last one. But that's what, when you step up and, and he did step up, and he weren't, and he certainly in the division, in heavyweight division, he just wasn't good enough. I don't know. He needs more experience and more fights. But he shows a little bit of head movement, and you want to see him over 12 rounds. I mean, he was, he gassing a bit, and I think for again though, he's in with a bigger guy, and it's difficult when you're smaller and you've got a big lump like that in front of you.
Do you think that's a conversation that needs to be had between Jake Paul and Fabio Wardley? If Fabio can sort of show him how he did it.
I've never thought of that. I mean, they could always have a chat, no doubt about it. But Fabio, the difference is Fabio is a concussive puncher.
Mm.
And I don't think Jake is a massive, massive big puncher. Certainly, he weren't, he didn't seem to hurt AJ, although he caught him with that right hand and missed him with a good uppercut. But I think, Fabio has that equaliser, and he's shown that against world-class fighters and done it.
Did you catch the other fight, Andrew Tate versus Chase Samora Misfits?
No, I didn't. Had no interest to it or watched it.
There was some conversation relating to Tyson Fury, of course, from last week. Tyson took umbrage to some of Anthony Joshua's comments in the lead up to the fight, given who is in the ring against last week with AJ. What did you think about those comments that they had back and forth?
What was he saying? I mean,
Tyson called AJ a classless loser for saying that if he can get you in the ring and he can kill you, he will.
Well, that is not a good thing to be saying, is it? You don't want to see somebody get killed in the ring. Who wants to see that? And they're not licensed to kill. Boxers are not licensed to kill. They're licensed to box. That's what happens. And you go and, I've been involved with a couple of fights where somebody's lost their life in the ring. And, it's the most awful and dreadful thing. You imagine for their families what it must be like to losing their, and in those days it wasn't women, their son, but these days it could be a woman as well. It's a dangerous sport. AJ's been around long enough not to be making stupid statements like that.
The other bit of news is that AJ might be taking on Rico Verhoeven as the interim fight between the fight with Tyson Fury. What do you think about that as the competition level?
Look, that's where he's at. That's where he's at. None of these fights are going to, in my mind, change the result of the fight against Tyson if it happens.
Does Tyson take that fight in between? Have we got
well, Tyson at the moment is away on holiday. He's just finished a heavy schedule. He's filming his series, Netflix series and his documentary. So he's taking a break with the family. So he's not going to be ready to fight till sometime if he does fight. That's it, and a big if he fights till April or so. So he's not going to sit around and wait till September without a fight. If he's coming back, he'll want something, but he won't be fighting a YouTuber or an MMA fighter.
Given that Tyson's got a close relation with Netflix, AJ's now appeared on Netflix. We know that there's been a fee paid for AJ to appear on Netflix as he was exclusive to DAZN. Is there a conversation you think that might happen between DAZN and Netflix for that fight between Fury and Joshua to appear on Netflix, perhaps?
I think before that we even get to that stage is to get the fight done in the terms agreed for the fighters, certainly for Tyson, because Tyson's said what's required from him to participate in the fight, and if he gets it, then that's a conversation. But at the moment, I think we should just worry about whether the fight's going to happen first of all.
Do you feel the fight will happen?
If the money, if what Tyson is asking for, if he gets that as a purse, as a fee, yes, I do.
Is that the only sticking point right now?
I think that's it. There'll be a couple of minor things, but the money's okay, then they'll do it.
As far as you know, is AJ agreed on his end?
I don't know. I mean, he's talking about fighting in Riyadh, isn't he, in February? So I don't think they'd be paying for him to fight an MMA fighter if they didn't feel it was going to happen.
Moving on to some more Queensberry interest. Lawrence Coley got the job done against Tete, did what he needed to do. What do you think of Lawrence? What's next for him?
I thought he did okay, especially when you look at the injury that he suffered in the previous fight where he tore his bicep in the first round, and it's a bit of a bloody shame for him, but he got through the fight, and he needed that fight, so he set himself up for a big fight in 2026, and we'll work on that.
Tony Yoka got the victory as well, defeating Corte. Yeah. He wanted an Olympic rematch with Joe Joyce. Is that possible?
I like that fight. I like that. If Joe says that he wants to carry on, and if he does, then maybe that's something that we could look at. But Tony's he signed with Queensberry, and we'll get him out as well. Look, the heavyweights, the one thing we have done with the heavyweight division now is making these fights happen.
Mm-hmm. Derek Chisora spoke to Radio Raheem over in Africa, and he was talking about the potential fights that could be his 50th. Have you got an update as to what that might be?
Well, we were hoping we were going to get that one in December, but we had to cancel the show. So that's something, if it's going to happen, that's going to happen. It's going to happen very quickly. Otherwise, he's going to lose his position where he's at with the BC. So we'll get that sorted out, I think, within the next week or so.
Deontay Wilder is the much rumored, whispered potential opponent for him. Is he on the list?
I'd like to see that fight. I'd like to see that fight. I'd like to also see that fight. If it's not him, I'd like to see that fight with Fabio.
Hmm.
Two big, massive punches.
Hmm. What about with Daniel Dubois? Have you got an update for Daniel?
I spoke with his dad a couple of days ago, and we're working on something for him. One of the fights that we were considering was if Ajit Kabayel comes through on the 10th of December 10th of January even in Dusseldorf on their sold out show out there. If he comes through that's something we may consider look at. But Daniel will be in a big fight, whatever.
Hamza
As for
Shiraz.
Ajit, if he comes through, which hopefully he'll come through. He comes through. He's fighting. I think you pronounce it Nyber, the Polish guy who's 17-0. It's a good fight.
Hamza Shiraz also in a big fight, whichever way you look at it. Pacheco has now been ordered. Very enticing fight. Should it get made?
Yeah,
Also, the option of Billy. If you're a fight fan, you're happy with either, but which suits Shiraz and Queensberry
either of them,
better?
but I would like the Pacheco fight.
Hmm.
I like that fight
Why specifically Pacheco?
because I like the fight. I like the fight for Hamza.
Hmm. And is that an easy deal to make?
Well, he's with Matchroom.
Hmm.
With us, it's not a deal to make. It's been ordered.
Hmm.
And when these fights are ordered, if we can't agree terms, they'll go to purse bids.
Hmm. Talking about, of course, the schedule moving forward, it used to be the case that boxing would maybe take a rest in the January, February sort of periods and then come back later on. What's changed over the years where it's now the hot starts that promoters are having?
It sort of varies. I mean, most of the reason there's not a lot happens in January because the promoters think about people, getting over Christmas, spent their money on their money, their hard-earned cash, and not being able to afford it. But if you announce the fights and give them up front, you've got a chance to do it, as we've done for the 24th of January and for the 10th of January in Dusseldorf with Ajit, and also we've done with Nick Ball and Brandon Figueroa up in Liverpool on the 7th of February. You know, all those shows are going bloody well. As I say, one sold out. The show up in the Co-op with Moses and Franklin on, that will sell out, the Magnificent Seven, and I think Nick Ball's show will. In the past, I can remember doing Colin Jones and Don Curry in January. Sold out. We sold that out in a matter of days when we put it on sale. That's 40 years ago. So we've done lots of shows in the past on those dates, and I just feel that boxing now is so lively and it's being so well attended, and people are buying into it. I think it's become. I mean, we don't have the breaks in the summer like we used to have. We never used to run shows in August ever. It seems like now it's just it's the 12 months of the year.
Like you started off by saying about who's going to be the breakthrough of a fighter of the next year. I want to ask you who's going to have the best comeback of the next year. Maybe one of the Queensberry fighters that didn't get the victory that they were looking for. Who do you think will have the best comeback in 2026?
With the Tyson fight happens with AJ, I think that will happen. I think Daniel Dubois can come back with a big win. There's a number of guys there who can, are there to come up. They're the two that sort of, stand out for me.
Mm-hmm. And just quickly before I let you go, I wonder if you saw the interaction between Conor Benn and Duke McKenzie over in Dubai between the two of them. What did you think of that, if you did indeed see it?
What did he? I didn't see it, but what I sort of briefly read something. What did he call him?
He was essentially unhappy about some of the comments Duke had made, and also kind of made relations to some of the money that Duke hadn't made in his career and Conor Benn has made so far in his career.
Well, look, they're different eras. And first of all, Duke won 3 world titles. I promoted Duke. He's with Mickey Duff. Then he came with me, and I promoted. I think he won I think he got his biggest payday with me. But he was he was like in real lower weight division, and there wasn't different eras, different monies. We're talking many years ago, and Conor can't compare what he does and what's happened there. I mean, Conor's very lucky. If you want to say how it is, Conor's lucky that his name's Ben, and he fought another guy whose name was Eubanks Jr., and people bought into it. and they bought into it, and God bless them, they made money. You know, how much somebody makes in boxing doesn't make you a better fighter, and he certainly hasn't achieved Conor yet, and I don't know where he will, and I can't see him winning 3 world titles. He can't, you know, he's not going to do what Duke did, and Duke as well as an amateur. I mean, it's like, if we're going to gauge on how much money you earn, then obviously you've got to look at Jake Paul as being one of the most successful fighters of all time, if that's how you gauge, you know, what you've done in sport or in boxing.
Well, I'm running Duke's channel, so hopefully we get nice to get a good conversation between you and Duke together.
Yeah,
Go through some of the memories.
we go back many, many years. I remember him as a young amateur coming to a nightclub that I had in the Barbican, and that must have been in 1979, 1980, all those years ago. And he came in, and we were talking about it, you know, where he was going to sign with me, and he went with, as I say, with Mickey Duff. But he eventually came with me and had fights with me.
Okay, Frank, pleasure. You got a Christmas message to all the fans listening in?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, I hope you all have a great Christmas and get a really Merry Christmas to your families and loved ones. And thank you for all the support for Queensberry. All you guys have been supporting Queensberry over the last 12 months. And I hope you all have a really, really happy, healthy and prosperous new year. And keep coming and watching our shows, because you're going to be entertained. We've got some fabulous fights, some shows on, and we've got some to announce, which you're going to love.
Well said, Frank. Appreciate you and time. Thank you for everything this year. Thank you as well.
Thank you, Eamon, as well, for all what you do. Appreciate it, mate. God bless.